there's comfort in God's hand. Thank you for that. She gave that scripture. She said that if we suffer with him, we have hope because we know that we'll be comforted by him. So there's comfort in God's hand, right?
Yes.
But how do we get to God's hand? What?
By praising him and praying and reading the word.
Amen. She said by praising and praying and reading the word. Why? Because when you do that, you enter into his what? Presence. All right? In his presence is what? Fullness of joy. Like, not just joy, but joy that gives you fulfillment and satisfies you on the inside. It's important, like, because it's all going to relate. But how do I get to this hand? I have to do what? Humble myself. That means I can't be dealing with images. I can't be competing. I can't think I'm greater than others. Can't think I'm doing better than others. To get over here to God's pleasure, I got to humble myself under the mighty hand. That's where this stuff is at. What else we said? We have to have hope in suffering. In other words, everything not going to always go the way you want it. Life not always going to be crammed into what you expect it to be. You can have expectations, but you got to understand things aren't always going to go according to what you expect. And when they don't, you got to know how to what? Suffer it. And have hope in your suffering. I'm telling you, it's crazy how these scriptures going to correlate. And what else? I have to seek God. Right? Seek and you will find this stuff. God is a rewarder of those that what? Diligently seek him. What are we diligently seeking? Where are we diligently seeking it from? But God said, I'll give you pleasures, rewards, comforts in my presence if you seek me. Okay? It's a blessing. Like, it's just crazy how this all gonna fit. So, I gotta erase this, so I hope you got the notes. I'm gonna talk to you real briefly.
Can you give me those keys right there?
Everybody got it? That's my all right. It's Canyon. And you sit right here? I heard you.
We talked about this in Chicago. Oh my God.
No, tell her again. It's may I. May I.
Can you? May I?
May you sit right here?
That's so funny. It is funny.
Shut up, I hate.
So, this is what I want to talk about today. Y'all ready? This is what I want to talk about today.
Kids.
Alright. This is what we're talking about today. Social media. What's social media? Facebook, IG, what else we got?
YouTube.
Twitter.
Are you writing them down?
Yeah, I'm writing them up here.
Is a YouTube one of them?
YouTube.
Snapchat.
Snapchat. What else?
Facebook. Instagram.
Instagram. What else?
Facebook.
We got Facebook.
Periscope.
What's that one that
Dating sites, dating
I have that. S7.
adult sites.
What is it?
Y'all listening?
Yes.
adult sites.
And musically.
Musically, yeah.
Oh yeah, musically is one that the kids be
That's the
on.
kids.
That's the
a-
kids be on.
Musically.
Yeah.
Supposedly all kids.
Alright? So this is what we talk about when we talk about social media.
No.
Social media is supposed to be a way that we can connect socially with other people through internet access. Alright? Now, everything in the world is neutral. Like, you can't condemn one thing to be equal or good. Like Paul said, I'm convinced that there's nothing evil of itself. Like it's all about how you use everything. All right. It's all about how you see a thing. Okay. So when we talk about social media, I'm not gonna demonize social media in general. Like there's a lot of good uses, positive uses for social media. All right. But I want to talk about the effects of social media when it's used irresponsibly. Okay? So I copied this article, and I got 3 copies. If anybody want to take one, they can. But did you write the things in that?
I did.
All right. So we're gonna talk about six ways social media affects our mental health. All right. So I'm just going to read the article and break some things down. It says, health experts love to say that sitting is the new smoking. Given the number of diseases which sitting is linked, the number of people it apparently kills every year, sitting is one of the worst things we can do for health. Okay? So we need to be active. Last stop. But possibly as concerning is the thing that we often do while we're sitting. Okay, that's just crazy. Mindlessly scrolling through our social media feeds when we have a few spare minutes, or for some, hours. As we probably know intuitively, and as the research is confirming, it's not the best habit when it comes to our collective psychology. Okay? Now, as the scientists and all these people do these studies, the American Academy of Pediatrics has warned about the potential for negative effects of social media in young kids and teens, including, some of these are obvious, like cyberbullying, you know, when everybody gang up on one person post and attack them, cyberbullying, and Facebook depression. Okay? Facebook depression. Now I'm looking like, what? But when I break it down, y'all gonna be like, oh, that's me right now. Like, that's how deep it is. I had to examine myself. But the same risk may be true for adults across generations. Here's a quick rundown of the studies that have shown social media isn't very good for mental well-being. And in some ways, it can be pretty damaging. Right. Listen to page. All right. So the first thing, the first effect, and it's the biggest one. It's addictive. So one of the biggest negative effects of social media is that it's addictive. Okay? It's addictive. All right. All right. It says a review study from Nottingham Trent University looked back over earlier research on the psychological characteristics personality, and social media use. Now listen. The authors conclude that it may be plausible to speak specifically of Facebook addiction disorder. Because addiction criteria such as neglect of personal life, right? Mental preoccupation, you at work, but you're thinking about if somebody liked the post that you put on early in the morning. All right? Neglect personal life. Like, you got kids, you on Facebook. Like, you could be cleaning up, but you just want to check Instagram real quick. Neglecting personal life. I could be studying, but let me just get on Instagram real quick for a couple minutes and see what's going on. Like, neglect personal life. Mental preoccupation. All right? What else? Escapism. Right? What else? Mood.
Wow.
Modifying experiences. You be happy and then you get on Facebook and you see somebody post some straight foolishness. Like, what happened? Mood modifying experience. Escapism, like. You stressed out. Let me just get on. I don't feel like doing nothing. I'm just gonna go on Pinterest, like. I'm just gonna look at houses on Instagram. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Escapism, like. Right? Tolerance and concealing the addictive behavior appear to be present in some people who use social networks excessively. They also found that motivation for people's excessive use of social networks differs depending on certain traits. Introverts, extroverts, etc., etc., etc. Right? So they basically finding out that it's addictive. I'm going to tell you why. Let me read a little bit more. Studies have confirmed that people tend to undergo a kind of withdrawal. A study of a few years ago from Swansea University found that people experience psychological symptoms of withdrawal when they stop using. This went for all internet use, not just social media. Their recent follow-up study found that when people stop using, they also undergo small but measurable physiological effects. Come on, guys. Sarah. Do you understand what he's saying, that people undergo physiological effects?
No.
You understand, babe?
You mean like in your brain?
Physical?
Yes, it's in the physical. Basically, when they say physiological, that's a drug and alcohol abuse term. What it means is that your body actually craves that thing. Your physical body craves it. That's how they classify something as an addiction. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Your body actually needs that substance. Like, right? You train your body to basically feed off of it, and then when you draw back, your body like, no, whatever you were just giving me, I need that back.
Wow.
So they find that social media is small, it's not as much as others, but it's still there. Like, and that's how they're able to classify that, people really get addicted to social media. Now, the reason why, y'all sit down, Grace. Sit down, please. The reason why people get addicted to social media, let me show you why. Y'all with me?
Oh, what did you just call that? Physical what? Oh,
Physiological. physiological effects. All right. I gotta erase some of this because I only got so much board. If y'all taking notes, did y'all get all of that? The reason that it's become addictive is because of this. Dopamine. Anybody know what that is?
Chemical in your body that makes you feel good, happy.
Sarah. You stop, please. Go ahead.
It's a chemical in your body that makes you feel good.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Huh?
Well, Clea had added on.
Good. It's a chemical in your body.
That makes you feel good,
Okay.
happy.
Okay. It's responsible for what? Pleasure. So this is not a bad thing. God created it for a reason. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that helps control the brain's reward and pleasure center. Okay? So that's why I said the scriptures tie in perfectly now. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter or chemical that helps control the brain's reward and pleasure center. So pleasure and reward. Dopamine. Okay? It brings what? Fulfillment. Okay? It's the euphoria you receive when you finish a long project. Like, you feel great. Like, as soon as you finish, the body releases dopamine, pleasure, reward. It brings fulfillment. You feel great. Bang, I finally finished. Yes! You get excited. Dopamine. What else is dopamine responsible? When you have adult extracurricular activity, like you work, you do what you got to do, you working out, you exercising. I know what I'm talking about. But at the end, you get what? A reward. You get what? Pleasure. What's responsible for that? Dopamine. All right?
Too.
Huh?
Chocolate too. Yeah. Just as big as hers.
Alright. So it brings fulfillment, pleasure, reward through extracurricular adult activity, through drug and alcohol, partying, all these things. It releases this. Right? So now this is a chemical release in your body. Right? So if what happens is, if you get your body used to this release, then what happens when you don't give it that same thing? Exactly. So I'm making the connection how it has physiological effects because you're getting your body used to a high release of dopamine. Alright? Now remember, dopamine is a chemical responsible for pleasure and reward. Y'all follow me? Number 2.
No, I thought that was number 2.
I thought withdrawal was number 2.
I thought dopamine was number 2.
That was all part of the addiction.
That was all part, yeah.
Number 2. These are the effects of social media. It triggers sadness. It triggers, more sadness and less well-being. Okay? Too much social media actually triggers more sadness and less well-being. Okay? The studies found the more we use social media, the less happy we seem to be. One study a few years ago found that Facebook use was linked to both less moment-to-moment happiness and less life satisfaction. The more people use Facebook in a day, the more these two variables dropped off. That's what the study said. The author suggests that this may have to do with the fact that Facebook conjures up a perception of social isolation in a way that other solitary activities don't. On the surface, the authors write, Facebook provides an invaluable resource for fulfilling such needs by allowing people to instantly connect. Rather than enhancing well-being, let's sit down. As frequent interactions with supportive offline social networks powerfully do, the current findings demonstrate that interacting with Facebook may predict... Kids, stop. All of y'all stop playing. Stop playing. That's why y'all down here. All of y'all. Sarah, you too. Well, man, you the boss, so I can't do that. Alright, so basically what all that mumbo jumbo was saying is like Facebook and social media create an illusion, like
Wow.
it creates this illusion that you easily well connected to everybody, but you lonely, like.
Wow.
Because the social interaction doesn't bring the real fulfillment that real interaction brings. So you feel the fulfillment by social interaction. You feel like, oh, okay, I did talk to Matt because I said hi on Hangout. Oh, I did holler at Roy Court because we was in a hangout and we talked. Oh, I checked that off. I did connect with them because I got on Facebook and I liked their picture. So it creates the illusion that you connected, but everybody feel alone in their house. You got 800 friends that you don't ever talk to, that you don't even know. You don't even know these people. I don't care if it's your family. You don't even know them. You don't have no interactions. You don't even like them. So you got you liking their stuff and they're your friend on Facebook and you really don't even like them. So it's creating this illusion that you well connected, but you isolated. Y'all do it in here. Let me say something to you. Let me preach and say something that one of y'all don't like. The first thing you do is get on your phone. You, look, you too.
Often. I don't think it's connected.
It is connected. The first thing you do is get on your phone. Why? Because it's escapism. Like, as soon as something happens that you don't like or somebody says something you don't like, the first thing you do is try to escape that and find the escape right. First thing you do is pick up your phone. It's the first thing you do.
Amen.
Okay? So the thing about it is we use it. I'm not saying Facebook is bad. I'm not saying social media is bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just telling you when we use it irresponsible, how it's hurting us, not helping us. Right? The Bible says it's a way that seemeth right to a man, but the path thereof lead to destruction. Proverbs 18:1 says a person isolates himself and entangle self with all type of false information and wisdom, like, and its end thereof is destruction. That's what the Bible says. Like. God put us in the body. He said it's not good for man to be alone. But we create all these opportunities to have a fantasy connection instead of a real connection. You understand? It's a selfishness. That's what it is. It's a defense mechanism. And it's not hurting, it's not helping us, it's hurting us. It's not helping us. Alright? So it says, alright. That's enough. Number 3.
Gracie.
How many know people on social media be styling? How many know people on social media be styling about their life? We get on Facebook, we get on Facebook and post a picture of our marriage and we smiling, but we just had an argument.
I said, wow, do that.
We get on Facebook and post a scripture about the goodness of God, but you're angry at God, you ain't even prayed today. It's just sad. It's what we do. We use Facebook we use social media to put our best foot forward. I'm not saying you should post all the negative about your life. I'm not even saying that you should post all about your life. But most people, most of us, most everybody, they use Facebook or social media. They take a snapshot of their life. So whatever they're posting or the pictures that you're seeing are only select moments. Y'all females take 100 selfies, but then pick the one that's the best. You don't post all those. You don't post all those pictures. You select the ones that you want everybody to see. Can you get her, please? So, too much social media inspires competition, whether directly, indirectly, subtly, however you want to say it, because people are prone to start what? Comparing their lives to others.
Oh, that's it. What you say? I said it's a breeding ground to covet, like to want what others have, because it's so much in my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and you automatically trigger like, dang, I want that, or I don't have that.
It's the truth. The Bible says that we should refrain from what? The lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Now, I'm not necessarily saying every time you get on Facebook, you're going to compare yourself. But we're talking about the effects of too much social media or using it irresponsibly. This starts to happen. You start to compare yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, relationally, everything. People, they post the pictures of everybody, people going on vacation. They post the vacation spots, Dubai. Next thing you know, I want to go to Dubai. I want to go to Russia.
You at home like, I ain't traveling.
No, go to work. You ain't going to Russia. Go to work.
They ain't stopping and they ain't got no money to go see where they at. You want to go over there.
Yo, I know some people, I know a guy who know how to like put say he's somewhere, have a picture and everything, and post that joint, and you think he in Vegas, he's sitting home, like,
green
girl, like for real. He said you can be
not you.
And we knows him. I'm like, bro, you in Vegas? He like, man, you can be anywhere on Facebook. Like, I'm in Del Rey.
Crazy, and I'm not knocking them. I mean, hey, more power to them. I'm not knocking them. If you want to get on Facebook all day, I'm not knocking you. If you want to get on Instagram all day, I'm not knocking you. But I'm telling you, if you get on Facebook all day, don't be calling me asking me to deliver you from the Christ. You don't know why you're off balance.
Right.
Get off of it, like.
Amen.
I'm dead serious, like. Because it's affecting us, and you sitting here trying to make an excuse how it affecting you, it is. It puts you off balance, like it sets your whole body, your whole mentality off balance when you break it down. So part of the reason Facebook makes people feel socially isolated, even though they may not actually be, is the comparison factor. We fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others as we scroll through our feeds. How many ever, maybe you're not in such a great spot with God, like you in the valley. It happened. And somebody posts an anointed post, everybody liking it. You're like, dang, I wish I was anointed. Like, dang, God, can you give me a good morning scripture? Like,
Amen.
bless Facebook. So you start comparing yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? You see this couple, they smile like, we so happy, hand in hand, we doing our thing. And you like, dang, I ain't, where my pooch at? I got all monsters in my inbox. Like, I ain't seen no waterfall and no boat trips come my way. You understand what I'm saying? Then you start comparing yourself. Like, okay, or how about this? How about when you see somebody on your timeline post some straight foolishness, like, or they be on there just blabbing their whole life, arguing with people? You be like, man, they in the way. Why are you posting your whole life on Facebook, bro? You bugging. See, look, you start, you're right there, you comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
You think that your life better than theirs. Like, you think you in a better place because they doing all this on Facebook. You judging them. Like, man, they tripping, man. What you're really saying is, I would never do something like that. You see what I'm saying? You already start to compare yourself, like.
Yeah.
You act like you somewhere else, like. How they gonna post that? These black Israelites, they don't even know the Lord, like, they off. You see what I'm saying? You don't know the Lord, like.
You ready to delete you because you talking
You
crazy.
think you know the Lord? You don't know the Lord. That's it. We get one revelation and one encounter with God, and we know Him more than everybody. Like, listen, man, God is love. You don't know what you talking about. He saved me. Amen. But like seriously, like that's a snapshot of God. Like God been from eternity. You knew Him for 5 moments. Like you know Him for 1 year. What you really know about God?
It's true.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So why we boasting and bragging like we know more than somebody, like, or why we compare ourselves and feel like we don't know as much as somebody because they give a good post? Why you can't just praise God? Why you can't just praise God for their post? Why you just can't receive it? Why you gotta start comparing yourself like, dang, I ain't anointed like that. Dang, maybe something I did wrong. Man. Maybe I need to get stronger. Why you start reflecting on yourself based on what somebody else is posting?
That's right. Amen.
Instead of just receiving it. Amen.
So it says, one study looked at how we make comparisons to other posts in upward or downward directions. Let me tell you how all y'all haters on Facebook. Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how I know you compare yourself. Ask yourself, have you ever been on Facebook and somebody that's your friend that you really don't care about post a bomb post and you know you should like it, but you don't?
You don't want to give them no likes. Negative. Not
Like, man, you know they post a picture. You're like, man, I ain't liking that, man. Bump them.
Yep.
Nah, I'm not a hater, bro. I'm not a hater.
You a lie.
No, I'm not.
Bro.
And then she just
I confess that on YouTube. I be watching those blessed things. I'm like, I ain't never hitting that like button. I ain't never commenting.
I gotta give credit where it's due, like for real. I catch myself if I feel like I'm like Regina, go back. You know that post was bomb. Go and I go back and like,
I have one back.
Amen. I just
I ain't even gonna read their post, man. I ain't even be.
I keep with 100 like listen, I do not bang with him, but that post, that thing was fire. Like, you know what I mean? gotta give it worse too.
I'm just showing you, when we doing stuff like that, you're really comparing yourself.
Right. Amen.
You're gonna pray about this when we're done, right?
You gonna pray about this when we're done, right?
I'm like,
Get
dang.
my forgiveness now in Jesus' name. Amen, bro. Amen, Mo.
Now look, it's gonna link. I'm telling you,
Khalil,
it's
get up.
going through what they breaking down, but it's gonna link. So it says, the comparison said comparing yourself to others' posts in upward or downward directions. That is, feeling that we're either better or worse off than our friends. It turns out that both types of comparisons made people feel worse.
Okay.
Alright? I'm like, man, they post these scriptures, man, they don't even know the Lord. They don't see no miracles, no signs, no prophecies. They acting like they more right. I'm not even in a state of peace. I actually lost my peace and gained pride.
And smash them at the same time.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I get off, I'm not even, I got a dis-ease in my spirit. My spirit ain't even right. I'm frustrated inside. Man, why all these people want to post? Why don't they just go spend time? They need to read. Like, when the last time you read? You ever say somebody else need to read and you ain't read?
Come on. I can't.
Yeah.
I be like, listen, all y'all.
While I'm here on Facebook.
Go read if you stay trolling.
Trolling.
Before I'm
Listen, that's me here. I be prophesying, listen, the Lord, you need to have intimate time tonight. I go home, go right to bed and get on Xbox and watch movies and YouTube. People dancing.
Thank you.
I end up staying at my house for like an hour and a half. Like, hey, look, it's all pop locking videos.
Hey, must be like, look, they don't hear the birds. From here.
I'm telling you, I love it. I be like, I wish I could pop lock.
That's why every time you get a chance, you say, what's in the movie?
Wait, I secretly wish I was a comfort.
No, bro, you are. Bro, you are. A crumper. Bro, you are.
That's your Gracie, get it.
Mo be like, no, he be sitting back like, this my chance.
That's why you be so hyped.
I saw him.
Gracie crumpet. Exactly.
Yo, check this out. Y'all know it's a blessing?
Right?
You are a crumper, bro.
The comfort was a Christian.
To like get out the energy, right?
I didn't even know the dude was doing the interview. He was like, yo, you know, people think that Christians can't turn up. Like, yes. He's like, yo, if people think Christians can't turn up, you know, we want to show the world like Christians can turn up too. Like,
Yeah.
we live too. We come back church. I read the Bible. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Hey, I was like, man, praise God.
Because it came out years ago, right? And he used it as like a form of the arts.
When there's people serious about it, like I get chills. Like when they going in.
I guess that's why Kenny was crumping
Yeah,
at high place.
Kenny, Kenny Clutch, he was like
crumping in
crumping when
Holy
he got
Ghost.
baptized.
Bro, when I say like, and like, what is he doing? He's like, bro, that's the craziest thing I ever saw, bro. That's what he was doing.
Under the anointing, some people shout.
Yo, I never seen nothing like that before in my life.
What did he do now?
Ask Emma.
What did he do?
Emma. Emma, you remember the lady at 48 Hours of Prayer in front of us? You remember her?
Yeah.
I forgot what she was doing. Like, oh, it's like her back hurt. She'd be like the spirit was hitting her back. It was like, but it was like her whole back.
What is going on?
I was like,
I'm like, we're moving, sis.
I'm like, should I pray hit me? Like,
Look at Emma. But she ain't had her thing in. She's like, what is this? I don't know.
Not funny. So I'm gonna try to expedite this real quick. Though.
Mo, you a whole crumper.
I am.
Take that thing.
So I'm just saying, like, so they said that the studies find that in real life, only upwards comparisons make you feel like depressed. And somebody that looks like they're doing better than you, you start to start to feel insecure about where you are in life. And you start to feel like, dang, I'm not being successful. They the same age as me. LeBron 31, like he's worth $1 billion. Like I'm older than him in age. I'm like, no bread.
That's big. That's big.
35. Look at LeBron. He's 31. Like,
But his
he's
hairline.
really the king. Like,
This is hairline.
That's true. That's
I'm like, yo, I should at least have a house by now.
The glory.
Y'all ain't had these goals like when I get about 30, I should have a house, I should have X,
That's
Y, Z.
right. That's right.
And then you get on social media and you see somebody at your same age doing them things.
Or
Yes.
like get married.
You see what I'm saying? You be
Oh,
like,
yes.
Whatever. Not
You
even
be like,
thank you. But
congratulations.
listen, wait, I used to know her back in the day. You be
That is
I'm like,
funny.
God, how you gonna bless her like that, you know? And I just be thinking sometimes, like, you know, I've been waiting. You know, like,
I'm cuter than her.
She said she's not even that cute. Like,
She really been thinking she's cuter than her. I'm cuter than her. I work out. I go to church. You be like, man, this fat nasty dude, how he get her? Like,
Bro, you know what I mean? You be like, how did she pull him? Yes.
For real.
Then you blame it like she got all tricks away. It's no way.
wait,
It's no
God,
way.
God be smashing it all the time because it really
prideful.
be, yeah, he's smashing in your face all the time. Like, it's not your looks, it's not, stop working outward appearance. Like,
nah, amen. But the thing is, you know, we have these things already, and I'm not blaming social media. I'm talking about when we be excessive with it and we irresponsible, then it enforce these things that's already going on in our flesh. Like, it activate these strongholds.
Activate.
You ever been at
Yes,
peace
it
and get on
does.
there and your
Activate.
stronghold get activated?
Yes.
You angry and everything else now because of social media. Alright? So I'm just saying how, you know, I'm going to get to the positives about it, but I want to lay the groundwork. Alright? So the studies say that any comparison on Facebook, whether you think you better or you think other people better, on social media, that it what? It says any comparison, which is weird because in real life, only upward comparisons make you have depression. But they found in studies that any form of comparison on social networks, it seems that any kind of comparison is linked to depressive symptoms. I just think that's deep. All right. Number 4.
Nick,
Number 4.
could you pass the bag this way?
This is exclusive.
yeah, this for the people on the right side. Okay.
All right, number 4. And it's connected, so I'm going to leave this one brief.
Okay.
Look at all the kids.
Jealousy. Okay, it can lead to jealousy, and it's a vicious cycle. Like I said.
My goodness.
It's no secret that comparison factor in social media leads to jealousy. Most people will admit that seeing other people's tropical vacations and perfect behaved kids is envy and Studies have certainly shown that social media use triggers feelings of jealousy. All right?
She put her hand out.
They found that Facebook offers a breeding ground for invidious feelings.
You said a breeding ground for what?
Invidious feelings.
What does invidious mean?
I guess that's jealousy. I don't know why they couldn't just say that.
Jealous feelings?
Yeah. Now listen, they add that. Now look it. Now this is the cycle. If somebody make you feel jealous because they balling. Now what you want to do?
Well, back.
Now you want to show it. That's why you got people on Instagram showing they what? They tax money, man. You're like, yeah, we balling. That thing be $1,001. You're not balling with $1,001. It's a blessing, but then you ain't balling with that.
Thank you.
You got a wad of money. It's all fives. You like, look, I'm doing my thing right now. All them fives. Praise God for the fives. You know what I'm saying? You act like it's all hundreds. It's all fives.
Yeah.
So when you see other people showing and making it look like they're doing their thing and you feel jealous, then it make you want to show people man, I'm doing good too. That's what Big Sonny said.
Yeah, that's right.
Feeling jealous can make a person want to make his or her own life look better. And post jealousy-inducing posts of their own in an endless circle of one-upping and feeling jealous. So you see the couple, they working out, they doing like the workout, they working out together. She on him doing sit-ups. He on her doing push-ups. You know,
You ain't working out and you ain't gotta move.
You gonna go to the why we don't look what they did. You see what they did? Let's pick it out. Then y'all trying it. You can barely do 2 push-ups. You don't do a push-up fell on you.
Hurt his back, now he out of work.
She doing sit-ups like, hold up. You can't even do it. Then you want to take a picture like, come on, let's take a picture of it. Show everybody we working out. You're in the mirror every 5 minutes. It creates a cycle where you don't even feel satisfied where you at in your life. Like, and you always trying to accomplish a fantasy reality because whatever they're showing you is not their full reality.
Right. Amen.
Some of y'all pictures always be like this. You gotta do something like this. You got a green hoodie on, you like this.
The same one.
Why you switch your eye like that?
Y'all know that ain't a natural pose. I seen y'all in the mirror. Y'all be like, y'all be trying to find that one cute angle. And that eye look cute. And you know if you look like that, that eye don't look cute.
You talking about my friend?
Y'all all be doing it. Y'all be like,
It is. My hair
just somehow you still
Don't
snap the
straighten
picture
it.
like
Oh, baby, don't straighten it.
Then you keep snapping it and make sure you get different ones. Then you scroll like, okay.
I'm crying. I'm done.
I'm not knocking you. I'm not gonna post nothing that look crazy. I'm not gonna post nothing that look crazy, so I'm not knocking you. But I'm just saying, like,
Mother is here.
amen.
Amen.
I'm just, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you are
And
so
it get us
funny.
in this cycle, then we keep trying to reach for this plateau fantasy that ain't real.
Here, mother. Come on.
Why you do that? I wanted to see where she was going to sit. She was getting squeezed right here. You talking about where she was going to sit. She was coming right here.
It'll be like, Marquita, Regina, move over. Let me sit with you.
No, Shady, not you. Not you. No, Matt, as always, is about to go get her a chair.
Always,
That's
right?
Mother, and she waiting for Matt.
And listen, the pride don't be kicked up like you usually always do, but don't do it today.
Come on and humble yourself in the mighty name of this word. Alright, so you see what I'm saying? Like, it gets this cycle, then we always reaching for something that ain't real.
Yeah.
Now, when you reach for something ain't real, can you obtain it?
No.
So when you don't obtain it, what happens to you? You feel what? Disappointed. So Facebook create all these what?
Illusions.
False hope.
Expectations.
Is it right now?
Expectations.
It create all these expectations. Your life should be like Brother Mo. Your life, I'm struggling. It's like he's so anointed. Listen, I'm a demon in the flesh. You understand? So I'm saying that like expectations. It's a key word right here to all of this. So jealousy. All right, number 5.
Number 5.
Now with me still?
Yes.
And you with me say hallelujah? Hallelujah. Oh, glory. Glory to God.
Wait, what's your name again?
Brian Carr is a old man.
What's the lady name?
I know he is.
Oh, Angie? Angie. Everybody begin to give the Lord a hand clap of praise. And then we be like, I'm going to have eggs, bacon with a horseshoe. Begin to give the Lord a hand clap of praise.
car, I'd be like, what's up, Adrian? She said, would you praise him? Would you give him a hand clap of praise?
I'll be like, wait, what?
Hand clap of praise.
Hand clap. Hi, Angie. Would you give him a hand clap? I said, come on, somebody.
That's hilarious. All right,
5 in the corner, 5.
we get caught in the delusion of thinking it will help.
Khalil, come have a seat.
Delusion. False healing.
False healing.
My God.
The enemy said, Jesus, if you hungry, just turn these stones to bread.
Is this actually one of the bulletins?
Right?
What is it?
We get caught in the delusion of thinking it will help. So the Bible says in Matthew chapter 4, it gives us a picture of how the enemy attacked us. He said, Jesus, if you just hungry, you the Son of God, like, won't you just turn these stones to bread? And Jesus said negative. Now I want to teach you about that temptation, because most of us fall to that temptation all the time. That's why you in that cycle you can't never break through. God always move powerfully in your life, but you don't never advance to your next season, or you'll never advance to the next level. You stay in a cycle. Why? Because of this one form of temptation. Like, the enemy always tempting you by trying to convince you that stones is bread. Like, that's a stone. That ain't bread. It's no nutritional value in you eating that stone. Like, all that thing is going to do is sit in your stomach and be a weight, and it's going to be hard for you to get rid of. It ain't bread. So the enemy always trying to convince you that somehow this gonna help you. Somehow this gonna make you feel better about yourself. You down right now. You hungry. Like, if you hungry, that means your stomach is empty. Like, the enemy play upon empty places in your life, and he try to give artificial fulfillment. Like,
Yes.
he be like, listen, you down, you going through, and then he send brother shoulder strong. That's really incubus. Like, that's really incubus.
Okay.
When you lonely and all that, he said succubus. Like, that woman come in, you talking about an assignment. I asked you, what's your assignment? I don't know. I just feel like, no, you ain't. That ain't no assignment. Like, it ain't no assignment, because if it was assignment, you would know exactly what God wants you to do. If you don't know what God wants you to do, it ain't no assignment. What general send a soldier out on an assignment and don't tell you what you're supposed to do?
Amen.
It ain't no assignment. That's incubus, like, that's succubus, like. That's a romance demon, like, that's what that is, like. You waking up tingling in the middle of the night. That's incubus and succubus romancing you in the middle of the night. And then he bring a false romance in your life, like, you thinking it's husband. No, that ain't your husband.
My goodness.
That's what that is.
Amen.
Alright. So I'm saying that because the enemy always bringing these false satisfactions to us, like social media. You know what it is about social media? It's fantasy world, like social media, adult sites, dating sites, video games. It's all the same. Because on social media, in real life, you a whole creep. On social media, you get in there and be a superhero. Like, you play that video game, you beat everybody up. Like, but in real life, nobody don't like you. Then what? You open your heart to this fantasy reality and who you make yourself look like you are, and everybody liking everything you're doing. Like, you start to think that you really that person. Like. So that's why you start leaning on that all the time, because it makes you feel better about yourself. You go on a date, you might not can't get no date in real life. People ain't paying you no attention, but you think you're the bomb. You get on that dating site and you show that shirt, that thing be low cut like this, and you be like this. And everybody be like, dang, you the bomb. Ooh, oh my goodness. On that dating site, all they think, they don't even want nothing that you showing them. Like, they don't want nothing on the upper half. Like, they're telling you whatever you want to hear. They don't even want nothing on the upper half, nothing up here, nothing here. They don't want none of that. Like,
It's true.
they just telling you what you want to hear.
Even on Christian Maple?
I'm saying, not everybody. But I'm just saying, not everybody. Because they say that 3 out of 5 marriages happen on social media.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, when we're not responsible, this is how the enemy uses it against us. You feel me?
Yep.
Then you looking like on social media, I was talking to the sister, Christian sister that went to our church. She stopped going to our church. She moved down south. Like, she had a shirt on, like your world changer shirt with nothing else underneath at the lounge, like, yeah, like.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
It hurt me so bad.
Yeah.
Different. You know what I mean?
What?
You know what I'm talking about? It hurt me. I inbox her a prayer. I'm like, sis. I inbox like, sis. Everything okay? You need it. You want? I'll pray for you. Anything you need, I'll pray. It hurt me so bad. She on there like, yeah, I'm on the lounge. We at the lounge.
She was
What's up?
sitting like that?
On everything I love. Like, shirt was soft as ever. And I'm not smashing her. I'm just saying, like, we get in this cycle now. And she knows when she posts that, somebody gonna be like, dang, good Lord, oh my, look at the thigh. And they hit that like. And the studies say, as soon as they hit that like, dopamine get released in your brain. Every time somebody like your post. That's why you post something, then you be checking to see who like it. Like, oh, let me see, I post that good word. Let me see if somebody say amen. Because when you see that like, it release dopamine, it release a reward and a pleasure factor. Like. Now, it throws us off balance because we start chasing for the reward and the pleasure factor without the work.
Wow.
It creates this reality that you think that you always got to have this reward and pleasure being released in your life. Now you start putting that expectation on God. Now you start putting that expectation on the church. If you don't feel no tickly glory and all that, it ain't a blessing. Like, if something high and mighty not happening, and something real powerful not happening, and all these miracles and all these stuff not happening, you feel like you ain't satisfied. You're being set up for failure. God never said He's gonna do that all the time. You get so focused on the euphoria of seeing the cancer here, you don't even see the miracles God doing every day. You don't even see them. Like,
Yes.
the man of God preaching about mercy and forgiveness, and somebody come up there and say, you know what, I forgive my mom. They had a grudge on her for 20 years, but you not satisfied because you don't see a cancer get healed. You get set up for failure. And this is how social media is setting us up for failure, because you always get on there chasing that high, chasing that, releasing that dopamine, and somebody like your posts and like your pictures, and it's creating a false expectation of you having that euphoria all the time, and it's not real.
It's not real.
Jesus said, in this world, you're going to have suffering. You ain't going to always have the fulfillment of your expectation. You ain't going to always get what you want. It ain't always going to be how you like it. Never. Jesus said that.
Yes.
That's why God says, suffer, and then if you suffer with me, then you're going to get under my mighty hand and receive the comfort. You ain't got to get on Facebook to get no dopamine release like that. If you humble yourself under my mighty hand, I'll reward you with pleasure. In my presence is fullness of joy. Like,
Yes.
seek me, like.
Yes.
So we don't even know. We seeking this on Facebook. Me and the wife have an argument. He's like, man, I don't want to talk. Why don't you go in your room? Why don't you go in the living room? All right, man, get out of my face. You know what the first thing we do? Grab a phone. Like, scrolling hard. Like, you ain't even reading nothing. I'm like, damn, shit. Killer. Playing the game hard as hell. Like this on the phone. I'm about to play that. Bingo. My destiny. That's right. Get on my escapism. You try to escape that real quick, but that thing's still right there. How many times?
Yes.
When you're done playing that game, you gotta go in that cold room, like, tossing and turning. Get on, bro. You better not touch me. Can you move over, please?
You want to answer the name for all
Shoot the main one. I get in bed. You know it's instant cuddling bear hugs. The tightest bear hugs. I get up as close as possible. Like, I be like her skin. I don't age like this, and I still try to scoop closer. Like, huh? Come here, girl. But let this cycle happen, like, right?
Gina, next time I'm not gonna lay down.
She be rough like that. When you jump me, I feel some type of way. You know what I do? I roll over, pick up the phone. Let me see if somebody posts something. Let me see what wise preaching. Like, my God.
The glory is here. You be like, I want to fall out under the glory like Mike preach.
He be like, my God. That laugh.
Praise God. Halloween is of the devil. Praise God. Dang, do we praise God right there? I don't think praise God go right there. Like, Halloween is of the devil. Praise God. Like, you gotta hit that. Yeah,
Right now. Like.
my boy though. He's a blessing. Though. I love him. So I'm like, maybe he should give him a word or something. Let me get on here and see what he's talking about.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So you see how you reach for it? You reach for it, like, what you really seeking for, like, that euphoria, like, that pleasure. Whatever you're dealing with, social media, it got the ability to make you feel a little bit better, like, about something. But it's a false healing, like, because as soon as you cut it off, all that stuff right there still. Now you're really feeling worse about it. You're feeling more depressed. Okay? More friends on social. Okay. This is probably because of what's known as the forecasting error. Like a drug, we think getting a fix will help, but it actually makes us feel worse, which comes down to an error in our ability to predict our own response. Okay, so y'all can read that more. I got this stuff available. The last one is 6. This one I love. More friends on social doesn't mean you're more social. Okay? More friends on social media doesn't mean you're more social. All right?
That's true. Keita.
It says a couple years ago, a study found that more friends on social media doesn't necessarily mean you have a better social life. There seems to be a cap on the number of friends a person's brain can handle. And it takes actual social interaction, not virtual, to keep up these friendships. So feeling like you're being social by being on Facebook doesn't work. Since loneliness is linked to myriad health and mental health problems, including early death, getting real social support is important. Virtual friend time doesn't have the therapeutic effect as time with real friends. God said, Psalm 65, I put the lonely in families. Amen. God said in Genesis chapter 3, it's not good for man to be alone. God said, I put every person a member in the body. Like, God designed us for relationships. Like, God designed us for relationships. So God designed us for social interaction. God designed us that we respond to touch. Like, we respond to presence. You know what real love is? Presence. Not a present, but real love is presence. I can be like, yo, listen. Who's that?
You locked the door?
I can be like, yo, I love my wife so much.
Hey.
Yo, I could be like, yo, I love my wife. But when she's trying to tell a story to me, I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Do you feel love at that time? That's actually one of the biggest pet peeves she has with me. I'm trying to tell you something and you on the phone, you playing the game, you not even listening. Like, babe, I'm listening. I can do 10 things at once. I hear you, you say X, Y, and Z. I tell her everything she said, but she still don't like it.
Yeah.
Why? Because I wasn't paying attention to her. We in the same room, but I wasn't present in the moment with her.
Amen.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing in the spirit. You know God is everywhere. You know God said He never leave you nor forsake you. But when you're going through and you don't feel Him, you don't what? Feel the love. Like, But your whole situation could be the same. You could still be sick, still have the same disease, still have the same financial crisis, but let you feel his presence. What's the first thing you do? God, thank you. You love me. You understand?
Yeah.
Because love is presence. Like, that's what love is.
Hallelujah.
Love is sharing presence with someone. Like,
Amen.
Yeah.
so how can we love our neighbor if we never share presence with them? How can you love your neighbor? Don't you know that on Facebook, this one thing I hate. I hate if I interact more with you on Facebook and I got your number.
That's right. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I
For
hate
me, Facebook is for me to connect with you. Inbox on Facebook. He's like, happy birthday, son. Happy birthday, son.
Brother shoulders.
Strong shoulders.
Ninja, if you don't call me and tell me happy birthday.
I love my dad. I'm not knocking him. You know, everybody in different places. But that's the point I'm saying. Like, I really was upset at first. You understand? I like, dang, dog, just told me, like, you're a whole dad.
Yeah.
I came out of your loins. Like, you understand?
Yeah.
We supposed to be closer than that. Like, that don't feel like love because you hit me on Facebook. You feel me? So I'm just saying that it's the closeness, it's the presence, like. You feel what I'm saying? God told me that the more we stay separated, separation is the breeding ground from division. They say, you know, when you're not close to a person, they say they what? Absent from your mind or whatever, something, whatever they say. That people become absent from your mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Thank you. Now think about it. Let's say we don't have fellowship for a month. We text every day, you know, you might see each other every day, but you don't feel as connected. Like, you might talk on the hangout, somebody post a scripture. If we don't have fellowship for a month, even the hangout get dry. That thing be easy to follow. You get on, you see a post, you able to see a post from 3 days ago. Like, you be like, dang, it's Wednesday. That thing say Sunday. Z like, hi, good morning, everybody. It be Wednesday. You be like, dang, anybody even say good morning?
You say good morning 2 days later.
Yeah, and you see all faces underneath.
Nobody gonna say nothing.
That little circle be like, everybody gonna respond.
Nobody gonna say nothing. Nobody gonna say nothing.
It be like 9 circles. It be like,
Ain't nobody gonna say nothing about what the Lord did, Christina. Like, I seen all y'all little big heads.
We actually did. You was late.
I'm just saying, like, that be happening.
Amen.
Even that get dry. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because when we're not close to each other, the separation is starting easy to be divided. Like.
Yeah.
But as soon as we come together, it's like, y'all, I just love you. Like, y'all be hugging like, y'all just love you. Look at these ninjas.
I ain't talked to you in 2 weeks,
Look at these ninjas.
but I love you.
I ain't just talked to Matt on Wednesday morning. I ain't just talked to Matt on Friday morning. And Emma Friday morning B. Friday morning A was Matt. Friday morning B was Emma. I can't stand him. You know he always. Listen, bro. It's just all strong. I don't care, bro. And then Sunday, I just love you. I want to tell you why I love you. That's why I love you. You're just so nice. You just like the roughest, beautifulest, prettiest, glorious nerd prophet. How you a rough, beautiful nerd prophet? Like, I'm trying to think how that stuff even combined. Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's
That's what he is. She said, yeah.
I talked to Christine. She's like, man, I can't stand Marquita. Marquita, she always thinks she this, she do this, she like this, and this, and this. come to fellowship. Girl, I just love you. I love you here. Look at this ninja.
I'll be like, love them in real life.
You know what I'm saying? She's always playing with her hair and stuff. She's always prancing around. She thinks she's cute. Because if I said, girl, I just love your hair. You are a bomb today. Right? Why? What am I saying? Presence. That's what love is. It's us being the presence of people. You understand? So that's what I'm talking about the false healing. Like, that's why we're talking about. You look like you popping. You got 892 friends on Facebook. I'm like, man, they popping. But in real life, you don't got no friends.
There she is.
In real life, you can't call none of them and talk about what you're going through.
That's right. That's
In
right.
real life, you can't count on not one of them to pray you through in real life. In real life, if you really needed something, you really needed something, you could ask them for help. In real life, you got out of them 892 friends, 392 of them is family members, and you can't call one of them to ask for help.
Okay.
You don't even feel comfortable like.
Come through.
Yep.
You gotta pray to get the courage to ask one of them for help.
Yep.
Social media. Amen.
Amen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, these things can happen through social media. You ever look at somebody post and get attacked by a spirit?
Baby.
Real talk. You be good. So you post something, even a post from a believer. You know it's a shot. You like, damn, they taking shots at me down. Like, now you fighting with them. You dealing with pride.
Yep.
You want to post something back.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
How many silent arguments you see on Facebook?
A lot.
I'm like, I look at Z post. I'm like, yep, she talking to Jamal. I'll wait for it. 3 hours later, Jamal posting the scripture.
Lead us not into temptation. Evil.
She said she delivered because she off and everybody else still on.
That's right. You better get off of it.
That's right. That's right.
You understand what you understand? I'm just playing with them. But how many secret arguments you see on Facebook?
Right.
It's true.
You be like, yep, they talking to them. Yep, they talking to me. Yep, that post for me. Like.
Then you have an argument in your own head because you know that you shouldn't write back, but you arguing in your head all day about what you should pray. And then God be like, nope, you can't do that. You be trying to figure out another way you can write it. But I can say this, God. He be like, well, just don't say nothing. You just walk around all day like.
How many of y'all wrote the whole post like? Then delete it.
Delete that thing.
Not one line, 2 paragraphs.
Cause you gotta get it out.
You gotta explain. You break it every 2 paragraphs long. I think say continue reading.
Then God just delete it somehow. You be like, I can't. Where
Then
did
your
it go?
phone just blank off because you know you had it on too
You
long.
be
And then
mad.
you blank off. And when you open it back up, that whole thing.
It's gone.
Amen. Look, amen.
Amen. But you understand what I'm saying? When we mishandle this great tool, it's a great tool. When we mishandle it, when we on there too long, when we make it too much of a priority, then it has a negative effect on us. And then we imbalance in our regular life. Like, you can't even be satisfied with regular life. Because Facebook created all these high expectations of euphoria and glory and all this stuff. Like, you notice people always post the good stuff of ministry.
Come on.
They always post the service when people are getting healed and delivered. They don't never post their bad sermon. I'm not saying they should. But you think they ministry, everything happening. Like, some people might feel like that about the club. On Facebook, we got, that thing look like heaven on earth. You shouting, praying, everybody laughing, kids worshiping. You come here, you like, man, hold up, man.
Right. in Chicago.
Like,
Like, I don't want to be friends.
hormones
I
rise.
thought you was going to
Kids
get
slipping on you.
Be
You like,
manifested.
yeah, you don't get your kid. Asian kids crawling on you, like they got snot. They like,
I knew you was getting called out.
You a whole visitor, Sarah like one little drop of snot. She like in your face. She like,
Sarah, look at Sarah.
and the visitor be like,
She like,
"Who
okay.
is this?"
And okay. Facebook on? Okay.
It's not even that funny. But she white girl knows.
Baby.
So,
Sarah said it's not funny.
We've been
But
through
it's
the
really
struggle.
not though. So
We
y'all
seen
can all
love.
calm down.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
We seen some signs and wonders.
She doesn't think it's funny.
It's been some fellowships I was about to leave. I'm about to leave. Like,
Remember that one time you did?
you had my, it was a couple times. I'm like, I'm going in the back. Whatever y'all gonna do, praise God. I'm going in the back. Like,
That is funny.
how many times, who in here felt like that before? Like, you had the moments. But see,
If you ain't raised
but
your
see,
hand, you're
Facebook create the false reality that ministry's always gotta be like this. There's no hardship, there's no tribulation. But God said, listen, you gotta suffer with me, and then you also gonna be comforted with me. You gotta humble yourself to the cross. And in that same hand where I give out crosses, I got pleasures. Like, I got rewards. Like, I have comfort. You understand? Seek me. Like, don't seek it in Facebook. Don't seek it on social media. Like, you understand? So, alright, so I got a couple of these, and some of y'all can take them if you want.
What was 6, Mo?
6 was
More friends on social media doesn't mean you are more social.
real talk.
Oh,
Because you be feeling like you connected. You liking Jamal posting. You post, I miss you, Regina, girl. I love you, girl. Girl power. With the little poop sign and heart sign. This how you do it. With the little fist sign with the poop. It'd be like a little poop, a little boom, and a fist.
You need to stop it.
This how trifling you be. So you making it appear like you and Regina mad close.
And don't touch her all
That's right.
But as she texts you, you can't respond back.
That's true. I said we need to talk.
You see what I'm saying?
Regina,
I said I love you back.
You ain't said that.
I appreciate all my sisters. So am I. Wait.
Be all week long. Some of y'all who kept pressing and wouldn't leave me alone. Like, praise God for y'all.
But no, we all done it before. Like, it appeared like we mad connected and all that on Facebook and all that. But we don't even talk to each other in real life. We don't text each other. I call you, and listen. I call Kalia. She's like, yeah, that's crazy. You just called. Like, what you mean? Just on my heart. You call, I call Matt. He's like, boy, that's crazy, bro. Just on my heart. But nigga, why you didn't call me?
You thinking? We need to know.
Nigga, you are so funny. You call me. I'm just about to call you. Ninja, you always just about to call me. You understand how we do? You understand how we do?
Yes.
But everybody see us on Facebook, on social media. We like, yeah, we the club. We nothing can ever separate us. What's up, Marley? We say cheese. Yes. Like, my brother. Give me a high five.
Too young for that. You too young for that.
y'all
Ready to come here doing that?
Alright, so real quick, I know I've been in this real quick. So 6 healthy social media habits you need to know in life. I'm not gonna go over it. I got 3 copies of these articles. You can take the article, you can find it. It's a blessing. Number 1, set daily limits. How much unnecessary time do you spend on social media every day? Now you might intend to get on for 10 minutes real quick. But sometimes that 10 minutes turn to 45 minutes. Turn to an hour. Now, I'm not knocking you, but we want to set daily limits. Okay? Now, if you having trouble doing that, setting a daily limit. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to have an hour on social media. I'm going to have 30 minutes. Whatever it is, that's between you and the Lord. But they have some apps that can help you. So, for desktop, amen, you need accountability, praise God. The Bible said if you can't stop, then cut your hand off. Like,
Yes, that's
in
right.
other words,
That's
the Lord
right.
said, listen, whatever you need to do, whatever you need to cut off to walk in this thing, then praise God. So, the Bible said, okay, I said the Bible said 6 healthy social media habits. Because it's a great tool, even for God. Sometimes you feel down and you get on and see somebody post and it bless you. Like, sometimes you get a real word from God. Sometimes the real prophets be on there and they give you a real inspiration. Sometimes you see somebody do good and it can encourage you that your situation can also change. So I'm not demonizing social media. It's a neutral ground. The enemy can use it if we're not purposeful with it, then it's going to damage us. And that's basically with anything. Like, if you're not purposeful or understand the purpose of things, then it can potentially harm you. It can be misused. So setting daily limits. So for the desktop, rescue time. They got a program, rescue time, for the computer. For iOS only, they have something called Moment. For Android, they have quality time. For iOS and Android, they have break free. And for desktop, they have timeout.
Right, that's funny.
So I guess these are apps and stuff that basically hold you accountable. Maybe it just shut your whole Facebook off if you want it. But praise God.
That's a blessing.
Amen. If you need it, praise God. Like, what?
I know last week you was talking about you was gonna call like a fast from social media, and I was reading something in Deuteronomy, and it was talking about